I really am concerned about what is happening behind the scenes or out of our line of vision right now where it concerns fascism in this country. I mean, I really am. And I really do think that corporate America is going to fight like hell to get rid of Biden. Now, how do they do that? By sponsoring people who continue to divide the country, by not speaking out. Sometimes that's all you need. Sponsorship just means from these big corporations not to speak out against the racists or the fascists or the people who are just breaking this country into pieces. I know there was this big demonstration of solidarity with human rights right after the January 6th attack on the country by these filthy goddamn punks from corporate America, but that's dissolved. Have you noticed? Most of them are back contributing to the fascists. Corporate America is going to fight like hell to get rid of Joe Biden, make him a one-term president. There are many ways to do that you and I will never know about, but I do believe it is happening. And the reason they want to get rid of Biden, and bring Trump back. Oh, yeah, absolutely bring back Trump, because Trump destroys consumer laws. Trump destroys workplace safety laws. Trump destroys environmental laws. Trump guts the agencies whose job it is to oversee all these various areas of consumer safety or human rights or voting rights. Trump will demolish everything. And corporate America, the capitalists, they don't want to fuck around with all this social justice crap. Capitalism works best. Take a look at China. Take a look at countries where there are military dictatorships or fascistic dictatorships. That's what corporations love, because it's very simple. You just buy off the leadership. The leadership will round up people who are trying to bring about environmental laws and have them executed or put in jail or prison or disappeared. I'm really concerned. I woke up this morning about 6 o'clock and all these weird thoughts about this rattling around in my head. I really am concerned. And here's another thing. I record this program here at the Daniel Scapin studio, usually early afternoon. And I have no idea what's going to happen by the time you hear this, 9 o'clock Eastern, if you're listening on Progressive Voices. Even later than that, if you get your podcast of this program through some other means. So by the time you receive this podcast, I don't know, maybe the country will be up in flames. That's what I think about sometimes. Paranoia? No, I guess just 35 years of having a front row seat to observe, 40 years really, to observe what I see as the absolute destruction, the full frontal attack on democracy by the Christian fascists. It ain't listen, it's not the Muslims or the Buddhists or the Jews. No, it's the Christian fascists. They are leading this. They are promoting this. They are undermining democracy every single step of the way. And while all this is going on, the Christian fascists in the United States Senate, who are legion, all of a sudden, that's what most of them are, except the ones who have been sainted, like Mitt Romney or Murkowski or what's her name from Maine. The rest of the former Republicans are now under the control of the zombie master who squats down in Mar-a-Lago. Oh, my God. So Senate Republicans, read Christian fascists, are ready to block the bill tomorrow, or today, I'm sorry. As a matter of fact, they probably have done it by the time you hear this. It would create a bipartisan independent commission to investigate what the hell happened on January 6th during the attack on the United States. Now, the Republicans, of course, they've made it very clear they don't want any investigation of the sort because it's going to, if it's done properly, it will deliver to the American public some horrible facts about the Christian fascists. That yes, they are involved. Yes, there are people in the military who are involved. Yes, there are people in policing who are involved in fucking destroying the country. Just bring it down, burn this son of a bitch to the ground, and replace it with Trump-style fascism, where white people reign, black folk, brown folk, immigrants, people of color get the fuck down or get shot. Oh. Well, that sounded pretty intense, Michael. Republican leaders, the Christian fascist leaders in the Senate, have argued that this proposed January 6th commission would duplicate other investigations. And besides, it should also examine the violence during last summer's racial justice protests. You remember that, where a couple of cars got burned and a building got torched by lefties, by the terrifying Antifa, or by operatives from the right whose mission was to infiltrate the demonstrations and smash shit and hurt people and burn things and bring down the wrath of the police. I tend to go with that idea. I've been on the left side of the spectrum my entire goddamn life. I've been in more demonstrations than I care to remember. I have been tear gassed. I have been taken to fucking jail. And I can tell you something, taken to jail, not for damage, property damage, but because I crossed a line onto the sacred property of DuPont Chemical Company. And what I have seen through all those demonstrations, all my time on the so-called left, which to me is really, should be absolute center of the American political experience, but it's been pushed to the left. Okay. And what I've seen is that peace and justice people, unless severely provoked by fucking militarized state police with clubs and guns and handcuffs and plastic twist ties and shit threatening to beat your goddamn brains out, unless confronted with that, people on the left just want to make their point with speeches and demonstrations and walks and maybe boycotts, with education programs, with leafleting. Leafleting. In 1970, I was a student at NC State University in Raleigh, North Carolina, which at the time was just another Jim Crow bastion. But there were hundreds of students on the campus, NC State, that were resisting racism and war based on what Dr. King had said in a speech at the Riverside Church 7 or 8 months, I guess it was, before he was murdered, about the biggest purveyor of violence on earth is the United States. Well, that's when Dr. King signed his death warrant. You know that as well as I do. Corporate America, not going to stand for that shit. But on the campus of NC State, that's where I learned how to run one of those goddamn horrifying mimeograph machines. I can still smell it. I can still smell the ink. I can still feel the pain in my upper right arm from twisting that fucking handle over and over and over, clackety, 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 on and on. That was the only kind of communication we had. So yeah, I talk the talk, but you can bet your ass I've walked the walk. And what I have seen since 1970, 50 fucking years, scares the hell out of me. And I'm not just talking about the economic injustice. I'm not talking about the educational injustice. I'm talking about the words spoken by Dr. King and Mohandas Gandhi and Jesus of Nazareth. Well, I didn't know Gandhi, and I damn sure didn't know Jesus of Nazareth, but I was alive when King was organizing boycotts, and I was alive when he was assassinated in Memphis. And what I have seen over the past 50 years of my life leads me to the point now where I don't know what to I don't know what to say or do or think or be at this point. I mean, you can only arm yourself with so many weapons, right? You can only put away so many canned goods, as my good friend Bob Alexander always tells me to do. I don't know what to do. So I do the podcast. Senate Republicans, by the time you hear this, probably did block the bill that would create that bipartisan commission to investigate how deeply this country is infested with fascism and how we are so close to having it take over. Hi, Truth Seekers. Mike Malloy here. As you know, we've switched formats and are now broadcast exclusively on the Progressive Voices Network. So that means you get fewer program interruptions, no corporate commercials, and lots of profanity. But our format change also means some of our radio listeners no longer hear the program. It's been a while since I mentioned our podcasts, so you may have forgotten that there is a way to listen to this program anytime you need a good dose of screaming. Visit MikeMalloy.com and subscribe to our podcast. As a podcast subscriber, you can download the program to your mobile device and take me with you wherever you go. And if you have a friend who needs a dose of truth-seeking, you can give a gift subscription as well. That's MikeMalloy.com, and never miss a minute of the uncensored fun and frivolity.